If the Democrats take over after the midterms next year, the House and or Senate, do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated the emoluments clause as it relates to, say, such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on.
It's been recently talked about. Elon Musk had said, for now, and I did a video on this a few videos back, I think it was a couple days ago, where he was at a Qatar Economic Forum meeting, which is, I'm guessing it's some sort of watered down version of the World Economic Forum meeting where they kind of discuss policy and tyrannical things that they're going to do to people in a way that's coded so that it makes it look like it's good for you, like the agendas, the 21s and 2030s and 2050s, which is so humanely toxic to productivity of humans and the thriving of that, which means that they pretty much want to depopulate and do all this fun stuff, just, for your own good, we'll just kind of erase you and your family history and your genetic sequence through CRISPR technologies and forced jabs. But anyways, I'm digressing. And Elon said, for now, I'm going to kind of pull back on spending when it comes to governmental things and just kind of fade off back into being this producer of things, of stuff. I want to be a guy that does stuff, makes things and all. And I hope that that's like sort of like a way of becoming more of an obscure figure like the George Soroses and Open Society Foundations. Because I sure hope he doesn't think that he can just like turn like, I'm just done doing this. It didn't. And the reason why he even went that way is because a lot of effort was put forth to expose the corruption in government just through the financial sector. Money that's yours, lefties. That's if you happen to be a productive lefty that goes to work. I know that that's not your thing most of the time. But if you just happen to be a productive lefty and you're paying the taxes and all, and you get on a subway train and it runs off the tracks, and you're looking at your friend getting fondled by a person that's clearly mentally ill and homeless, strung out on fentanyl, that's your infrastructure failing. That's your stuff. That's that's affecting you. I don't know if you know this or not, but it's, society does not have to be what you call progressive and go in that direction. I'm just showing you my greasy hands because I was in the middle of working on something and it just, I said, what, I need to kind of talk about this for a minute. And so hear me out. Elon Musk, if you're listening, I know Twitter's failing miserably. You've got lefties that they're back in infiltrated. Grok has been completely brainwashed into thinking that the Fauci jabs are good for you and all this stuff. And it's wild. Yes, Twitter has been completely flipped upside down while you've been gone for 120 days. Nobody's buying into the blue check mark anymore because they watch their engagement go the other way. Now, if you've got boobs, you can put on a MAGA bikini and you can get out there and stick those MAGA boobs out. And yes, you're going to get a big following. But if you're just a dude trying to expose what's going on in government, good luck. Because I am one to tell you and other content creators that it has went to crap. Strangely enough, you'll get more traction on Facebook at this point when it comes to just getting a word out. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. And I'm only saying this because somebody needs to hear this that Twitter's and actually cares. Because Twitter was, I don't want it to be just one-sided, but it definitely should be open just like anything else, if Elon cares about what's going on, because you're watching the annihilation of that platform, where I'm not spending my money on that. So to watch it go the other way. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Elon, you can't just pull out. I know that's something you should have done with that one chick who recently is extorting you for millions of dollars. Yeah, that was. I understand. What was that girl's name? Anyways, that she was supposed to be a conservative and did a bunch of commercials for like Right Side beer and all that stuff, and then come to find out she was a huge lefty and was with that other lefty chick with the big forehead. I can't remember either. But long story short, some things you should pull out of, and some things you shouldn't. And this whole thing that you've gotten yourself into, because you do actually care about humanity as much as I do, is probably not a good idea to just act like you could go away. Because I've got a video I want to show you, Elon Musk, if you're watching, or anybody that might have a line to Elon Musk's. Jasmine Crockett's been openly saying, as soon as we get back any kind of power in the Democratic side, we are going to investigate you, Trump, everybody, and we're going to dig all in your economic guts, balls deep. Check this video out. This is wild.
Elon Musk isn't gone. Look, billionaires have purchased presidencies and run the federal government behind closed doors before. Elon Musk's real innovation was going out there in public and bragging about running the government on social media. So when the American people were rightly outraged and pushed back, now he's trying to say that he's going to step back, but he doesn't want to actually step back any of his powers. And as you just laid out, he's just as involved as ever, meeting in the Oval Office with foreign presidents, going to the Middle East with Trump to strike up business deals, and even pushing for AI policy to benefit himself. The Republican budget bill that just passed includes a $25 billion contract that Musk is the front runner on, so the corruption goes on. So what I think your viewers at home need to know is we need to take 3 steps. 1, make sure that Elon Musk doesn't get to just pretend that he's stepping back. We need to hold him accountable. 2, everyone needs to know that it's illegal for Elon Musk to stay a federal employee past May 30th. That's what federal law says. And 3, Democrats need to make clear we're not going to go easy on this guy if we retake the majority. We can use our subpoena and investigative power in a majority to look into Musk or any other billionaire that has broken any criminal laws, enriching themselves using the power of the White House.
It's kind of strange how we've actually are watching a extreme ramp up of rhetoric coming from a side that does not have the majority on either side, the House or the Senate at this point. Extremely not veiled threats at all. And if you actually can recall, a lot of the things that they're talking about investigating the Republican side for are all the things that you and I have been watching for a long time to be pretty self-evident of what they are doing with their insider trading. Nancy Pelosi, her husband, oh gosh, I could just, Bob Menendez, anybody forgot about that? There's been other politicians as well that have pled guilty to serious criminal problems and things that have to do with just not even what's been investigated with the Doge. The overreach when it comes to how they've run their lawfare cases with appointees that were never at all certified through congressional hearings, like Jack Smith. Something's up. They must know something that we don't, because they're pretty confident that they're going to have their day in the next midterms, actually. And it's what's in the making. We hear a lot of rhetoric coming out of Bill Gates and that Tedros guy and that Peter Hotez, that guy with the bow tie. Are they going to plan for another pandemic to where they're going to implement some kind of new mail-in ballot scheme again? And by the way, it worked flawlessly in North Carolina on a grassroots level when it came to getting in a lot of Supreme Court justices on our side. We've seen that the Allison Riggs and that Jefferson, whatever his first name was. But anyways, that failed miserably because there's no integrity. with mail-in ballots in North Carolina, they could do what they want. They won't be able to pass any laws because they don't have any actual real ability to do so. And by the way, when it comes to like NPR suing the government because they're pulling back funding, the government doesn't owe NPR anything. If they don't want to pay them, they don't have to. You apply for a grant and you're either given that grant or denied that grant. And there's certain stipulations that you kind of go. The only reason why they're going to sue the government, and more than likely will win, is because they have witnessed in real time the activist judges who are randomly picked, like Boseberg and James Comey's daughter, who's in charge of the Diddy case and the Epstein case and other really high-profile cases that deal with human trafficking. Randomly picked and put in place randomly to rule on these cases. They obviously know something that we don't as well, So they see it. It's just like illegals when you let them loose, when you arrest them and then put them right back out on the street, or gang members, for committing crimes and just giving them no bond and letting them run back out on the street. They see what they see the light at the end of the tunnel. They know what the deal is. They know it's their time. It's ready. You better do it now and forever hold your peace. So we've got a lot of problems, and I'm going to tell you right now what's going on with the FBI with Bongino and Kash Patel is very alarming because they've been got to. Ooh, we're going to find out who's doing the cocaine at the White House. Ooh, nobody cares. No, nobody. The only reason why we cared to begin with is because we were trying to get it hammered in people's heads that something wasn't right with the Biden regime. The man's got dementia. Something's wrong with the Biden regime. Aside from the fact that he was installed through an election process that was very questionable in 2020. And we were trying our best to get people to understand something wasn't right. That's the only reason why we were concerned at the time. It doesn't matter anymore. Nobody cares about the cocaine at the White House at all. So whatever kind of points that they're trying to win by doing this is pointless. No pun intended. At this point, I'm using that word a lot here, we see the writing on the wall. We see because we saw it in 2016. With the Do Nothing Congress. They just expelled Ken Paxton off of the Senate floor in Texas. Don't know exactly why yet. I've just read a little bit into articles, but these Democrats are just wanting to get all their bills through. They're not even worried about the Republican stuff. Texas has got some weird mess going on. That guy that was talking about going after Elon Musk is in Texas. Elon Musk is running his operation out of Texas. So for Elon to think that you could just step back and everything will be okay. And by the way, that guy made a very broad, like the statement, the word I'm looking for just doesn't come to me at the moment, but he's like, billionaires have been known to get presidents elected for a long time. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. The Democrats and even the establishment Republicans who have been all members of Skull and Bones and Open Society Foundation people, and what's that other one that Alex Jones went into, that stupid owl, whatever that was, the Bohemian Grove, all those people have been running the show for. Those people have been working for the people who've been running the show. They're the right hand men of the ones who are running the globalist entities. Because right now what we're dealing with is not a government issue. It's a global issue. It's something that's way bigger than our own government. And, we keep forgetting about the infiltration on both sides of Chinese people that have came in and become members of Congress, the Muslim communities who have came in and become members of Congress with their own agenda that all know that they hate America and they're all fine just running through it like a sword on just an innocent bystander. If you're still watching this, this video. This is long, I know, but I have a lot to say because I have a lot to think about, because I am sitting here after we're 4 months into this and we have not seen any significant things come out of what we already know to be true because of all the investigations that took place whenever there was the Biden regime. You had a Republican slim majority in the House at the time that was doing things and getting stuff done, and it's very in your face what was going on with the scheme that the Bidens were running, where they had all these businesses with nobody working there, money going to business that didn't even exist. They were just all on paper. There was no physical actual businesses. The classified documents that the Biden regime had at a house that Hunter Biden was renting, that we all know was being facilitated and open doors to all these Chinese operatives. We don't know. The Penn State controversy with Biden being a professor at this Penn State University, and then all the classified documents that were held in those offices that were all we know the Chinese people was running Penn State. Has anybody forgot about that? And they're going to come after us. They're going the Jasmine Crockett with that big old FU mouth, bobbing her shoulders back and forth. Just can't wait to get hold of that power again, because that's going to be the first thing on the docket. It ain't going to be, by the way, Democrats, it's not going to be anything for you guys. It's going to be sure that they can seal the deal with their criminality and all of the schemes that they've got in place for some of the things and all the things that they've done. So anybody hate watching this content thinking that I'm just some dude, oh, that's a Nazi talking. That's a Nazi talking. Let me explain something to you, hate watching this video, lefty people. You wait. You're going to be begging for my advice later whenever you find out that this thing that you've been supporting doesn't care about you at all. You're going to find out real quick. Yes, sir. They're just using you as a tool because they understand that they can't physically do it. They've got to have people to do it for them. You are their cutaways. All you people out there doing terrible things to your children so that you can virtue signal on social media that you did all this. Look at my kid. He got a dress on. I got a lot of likes. I'm in a community of people who are repressed because I want to be in it. You're going to find out when it's time. They're going to do something with you guys that you ain't going to like. And it's coming. And you're going to wish that it wasn't too late, but it'll be too late. By the way, it's recently been said that there's been an escalation with the whole Ukraine thing. And I don't know, there's been an extreme information blockade going to Trump to understand why Putin is doing what he's doing. I don't care about either side of that, other than the fact that it causes World War III or IV actually, but nobody's going to understand how that even rolls out. But long story short, the NATO people have banded together with that Zelensky guy. And Zelensky wasn't lying to Trump when he said, "Don't worry, you're going to feel it too. You're going to feel it too." He wasn't lying. He knew what the plan was. He knew he wasn't going to get any money from Trump. That matter of fact, that was probably a play on Trump, knowing that Trump was going to be an a-hole to him, because I don't blame Trump. But then it would give media talking points to say, look at the Trump, he's a bad. He wouldn't give Zelensky the money. And so Zelensky already had it planned out with those cokehead people over there in Europe, with that dude who's married to a dude that just slapped him in the face. That what we'll do is we'll escalate situations during peace talks, and they've been bombarding the Putin's doing terrible things. They've escalated things exponentially while these peace talks are going on, which has pretty much taken peace talks off the table. And if Trump doesn't understand what's going on, he's going to step right into a pile of crap, get America involved, and our people will be over there. Your women and children will be over there fighting too. You watch. There was a plan. It was too obvious. I was wondering how this was going to roll out. You think for one second that he was just going to tuck tail and just be okay with that, knowing that we were the ones that had all the money? Oh, no. And Trump, I hope, understands the bigger picture and pulls out of NATO. Another thing we need to pull out of. Not that Ashley St. Clair. Just remember that chick's name. Yeah, you got to pull out of that and pull out of the NATO. Don't pull out of your funding, Elon, to help save America, because it ain't going to be good. But the thing is, I understand. You maybe need to move in behind the scenes. Do what the Soros people did. Run cutaways. Make it legal. Play their game. Because obviously, if it's worked for them that long, it should at least, what little bit we've got will work. Anyway, so yeah, I've been talking for a long time, but I just think about it. I see all these social media posts going, "Oh, investigation into Letitia James." Ooh, Letitia James. They investigating such and such. They investigating this mayor for being a sanctuary city. Yeah, investigations ain't crap. Investigations just get us to shut up because we think that something's actually going on when you got Bongino and Cash Patel who know better than do anything because they've been compromised. Yeah. When I see the handcuffs, the click-clacks, the real deal, when I see an actual real judgment take place in the way that law is supposed to work, then I'll be happy. But until then, I've got both eyes open all the time. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.